Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream today. Brian Nato and Samantha Perry with you as we somehow kick off closing week here, the championship week, our last Wednesday of racing. Where has the time gone? But beautiful day, Curlin Florida Derby and a 14-race bonanza on Saturday, front and center. But we'll kick it off here Wednesday. Unfortunately, some rains overnight and heavy rains in the area took us off the turf today.
Yeah, it did, unfortunately. But the good news is the weather looks beautiful up until Saturday, so that's good news here. And still a nice 9-race card to kick off Florida Derby week.
Yeah, and it's a fast main track. We like that. Great job by Kenny and the crew for sure. And the Rainbow Six, which of course will be a mandatory day on Sunday. 12 races on Sunday with a strong card to wrap up the championship meet. But the Rainbow today, we are approaching $200,000 in the estimated jackpot. You can see the actual carryover close to $70,000. Pools are going to be big all week.
Yep, they will indeed. Just a big week here in South Florida. Very exciting.
Take a look at the early pick five. Is going to kick off in about 55 minutes. Again, we are off the turf today. A fast main track, $24 early pick five for me. Race number 2, the top pick is the 8. I didn't change anything around even though we're off the turf. Single in race 3 with the 4, Blossoming Erudite. In race number 4, the top pick is the 4. That's Sorority Bid. And then 51, race 5, the 1 down on the inside. Morgan Point is my best bet of the day. Morgan Point and Freedom Road are going to throw down in a fun one on the main track in race number 5. But we'll kick it off on a fast main track in the opener. We're going 7 furlongs. These are 12-5 maiden claimer 3-year-old fillies going at it here. Junior Alvarado, I'm sure you've heard the news. If you haven't now, got dinged up, unfortunately, on Sunday. He's going to miss the mount on Sovereignty in the Curlin Florida Derby. He's going to be off for 2 or 3 weeks. We wish him nothing but the best in a speedy recovery, but he's been named on horses since we draw early throughout Sunday. So we're going to have changes each and every day, and that includes the opener here, Vanessa's Wish, the 1-horse Javier Castellano will ride. And you are on the 7, Samantha, and that is Miss Morgan off the claim on the main track for Victor Barboza Jr.
I just like the fact that she's getting back to the main track, Brian, because her 3rd place finish last time out, last time on the dirt was her only dirt start here today. I like this post position. Victor Barboza, we can't say enough how well he's done this championship meet. And I think Miss Morgan against a field that doesn't look like a whole lot could be okay.
Agree. Victor's also got the 3, and that is La Tremenda in here as well. Another trying the main track for the first time. I am on the 8, CC Girl for Timmy Hills, who's had a couple wins of late. She's going to run on the main track for a tag for the first time, and that's really got to wake her up, I would think.
Yeah, you would think so. At least at this point in time, it should.
Let's take a look at Trumpetta. She was necked out last time. A very slow race for the level, but it was a good effort.
Yeah, it was, and I think that it's good to note that in a race like this, she kind of lost some ground around the turn here, but she was running on quite well. Champagne on Ice ends up winning the race. She sure does have an odd way of traveling, just very wide up front. But when she switches into her right lead, she kicked on a lot more. And now we'll cut back a furlong, which I think should help. But it's good to see her duel and fight on.
Showed a lot of gameness in between fillies there, to be sure. Race number 2 kicks off the early pick 4. Now we are off the turf. We'll go 1.70 miles on the Tapeta and what is a $35,000 maiden claimer. These are 3-year-olds and up. We scratch out the 1, Smooth and Easy. The 10, Last Run. The 4, Mythic Performance, is a gelding. Take note of that. And Javier Castellano will ride the 3, Ranger Battalion. All that's out of the way. Let's take a look at your early pick 4.
I'm starting it off with a single. This is my best bet here, Ranger Battalion. Race number 3. I do have the 7 on top. That is Wiggle and Wine. Race number 4, the 8 for me, Great Shashi. And in race 5, I have got the 3, Freedom Road, but I have Awesome Train on top, the number 6, so $12 there.
All right, there we go. Well, you're going to take it away then. Ranger Battalion, the 3-year-old, taking on older for Bill Mott. Trains morning line favorite Sovereignty in Saturday's Curlin Florida Derby. Maiden special weight dropper trying Tapeta now for the first time.
I think that that's fine. This horse has some speed, which I like. It should bode well for him here too. Now the number 2's got speed as well, but Javier Castellano, I don't see him getting into a send mission here. Just sit right outside the 2 and should be in a good spot.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. We're going to show the replay of Super Crunchy and Hurricane Express. It was on the turf, but I want to show you how good Super Crunchy ran. And this was off an late April to February 9th layoff, too.
Yeah, this was a pretty game effort here, especially, like you said, that's such a long layoff, but he ran really well. It seems like it was probably a combination of the class drop and I think they did a good job getting this horse fit. So I think that I think that maybe the class drop made it look like a much better performance. Yeah. But also that race came back pretty good. Salted Caramel came back to win. John the Baptist, who ran 4th, ended up running 3rd to Salted Caramel. That's good. It's a
good race, and he's got Tapeta form too, and it was at 1 turn. He was actually 2nd. He's a way better horse now than he was then, so I think he's still very, very viable in here. You've got him in 2nd. Mythic Performance, maybe the gelding. I liked him on turf. The Tapeta run last time wasn't that great. First time gelding though.
That helps, but I agree. He's a big, heavy colt. Well, now gelding, thank goodness, but still, I don't know. The big bone, big heavy horses I don't really like on the Tapeta. But back in December in 2023, he ran well on it.
You just look at his form, and he has literally run the same race every single time. You would have thought the drop last time was it.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
Maybe you're going to think the gelding is it today. We'll see. But he's just really, honestly, he's disappointed a lot, and I'm probably at the top of that list. Race number 3 is 5.5. On the Tapeta, it's a $35,000 claimer for the 3-year-old fillies. Scratch out the 6, Obliging, and that's a big scratch. I'll start with you on the outside, Wiggle and Wine.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the replay because this filly won the battle but lost the war here. This was a really, really big effort, and what you're going to see is Don't Tell Tamo wins the race, and that's going to be the 5 horse, but she is just in a hard-fought duel with Solidaria, who came back to win after this effort here. Don't Tell Tamo those two are duking it out on the inside, and Don't Tell Tamo got the easiest bit of it. Wiggle and Wine did everything except win here.
Yeah, no, you said it perfectly. They swooped there for the win while it was getting set up by Wiggle and Wine, who ran very well to be 2nd. She's a big player in here. The 4 is Blossoming Erudite. Blinkers are going to go on. I like that, and the fact that this is a big drop for her. That Matinata race was pretty good. 2 back.
It was, man, but that was a bad beaten 4th at the same time.
Yeah.
She bad in the sense of she just was not really running at all at the end of the race. So that's what worries me. But that was also her first start in some time. Well, at least from shipping from New York to Florida. And I feel like sometimes horses don't put their best foot forward.
Yeah, and that was her only Tapeta start, too. So it's behind her now. This class drop, you're chasing She's So Spicy, La Amazonia. And thankfully, the 2 ladders ran in the stakes on Sunday. She's So Spicy's going to win stakes. So she's finally, I think, getting a fair go of it. You could even take that approach in New York, too. She's running in state bred and restricted stakes races up there, too. So we'll see what we get today from her. We've got a stat on Kent Sweezy. He's got a couple of them. He's got Any Moment, the 2 off the claim. He's got the 3 Want All Smoke off an easy 12-5 maiden claiming win. This is off the claim on Tapeta here with the 2 Any Moment.
This is a pretty decent stat, 14%, 45% in the money first off the claim. That's on the Tapeta. So, look, this is a barn that play against at your own peril. This horse has had 2 wins in a row now. She's in good form. This is a big step up, though.
Well, you said the key to me. Kent, I don't even think that stat matters with the way Kent's going. If they were all running like they are now, that stat might be 9 for 22.
Right.
So the barn has really, from start to finish, and is going to close it out this weekend, and enjoyed a prolific championship meet. So as you said, you go against this barn at your own peril. We'll take a quick break here on Gulfstream today. We've got a 9-pack for you on Wednesday. 3 down. When we come back, it's Rainbow 6-time. Ron Nicoletti's got the ticket. You stay tuned.
And they're off.
Win big with new DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views. Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access Past Performances. Go to drf.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Brian and Samantha with you. 9 races here on a fun Wednesday off the turf, unfortunately. Fast main track, though. You can see the weather behind us. It looks really good for the rest of the week, at least as Samantha said, through Curl and Florida Derby Day and that Bonanza on Saturday, 11:30 post, I'll remind everybody. But let's take a look at Ron Nicoletti's Rainbow Six ticket, $200,000 in your estimated jackpot, and Ronnie goes 43-20 with a single in race 7.
There you go, and that single in race number 7 is the 6th, Cotty King, who has been in really good form lately. I like that single there today. Race number 8, he's spreading. That's an off-the-grass event, very, very wide open now, it seems. He's got Roscoe Pine for Bill Mott, Pet Matt, Speed Runner, and Kathib off the claim. And in the finale today, Go Amy, Before, Well Aware, in the 6, Something Simple. So 43-20, it's a great ticket today. I like the single a lot.
All right, here we go. Yeah, that single's going to be really, really tough today, to be sure. We'll kick it off in race number 4. We're on the Tapeta, going a mile and a 16th, and what is a 17.5 claimer for the 3-year-old fillies. Scratch out the 1, Dixie Escape. Again, Junior Alvarado's going to be off his mounts. The 6 is ridden by Tyler Gaffalione on China Blue. Samantha's on the outside with Great Shashi, and we've got a video to show.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the replay. Dixie Escape was in this race too, but now that she's not here to play, we'll just focus on Great Shashi, who ran really well here, I felt like, Brian.
Yeah, Zoe Zuchera, you can see her at 7-5. She's going to win easy, but kind of focus on Great Shashi, who's well clear of Dixie Escape, who's out of here. But still, the point is she's an easy and clear second. You always like to see that as opposed to maybe, necking out in second.
Right.
She's comfortably. She wins this race easy if the heavy favorite wasn't in there.
Yeah, you cannot say it any better. And Zoe Zuchera just took that outside spot, and that helps a lot. But at the end of the day, there's no Zoe Zuchera here, and Great Shashi's drawn really well. So
Sorority Bid is the 4, and Hirad's going to get aboard. And I know her route race, 3 starts back behind Bugged Out, who we'll talk about in a second. It looks like she was 4th that day. She was going to be closer. She had a little trouble, and then what happened was she was just flat because of it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know about her going back 2 turns again. I can't decide if I like this move or not.
She's not overly bred for it. The weird thing is we see a lot of these social inclusions routing and trying turf and stuff like that. That was not social inclusion. At all, but we'll see, what kind of sire he turns out to be. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. It's her only route race showing. It was better than it looked, so I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. Hopefully she'll be a square price or 7-2 because, you don't want to take too short of a number. Bugged Out wants to beat you. She's 2 for 4 on Tapeta. She's one of just 2-time winners in this field, and she's got speed too.
Yep, you said it. She's got speed, and sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't, going 2 turns on the Tapeta.
Yeah, if they let her go early, they're going to have a problem reeling her in for sure. It's just a matter of if she takes any pressure up front. Race number 5 kicks off the late pick 5. It's a fun one. It's a starter optional claimer going a flat 1-turn mile, a fast main track here. It's a clean field of 6. I'm interested to see what you did to kick off this late pick 5.
Well, the scratch in race 6 really messed me up.
Okay.
Because that was going to be my single. So race 5 we'll get into. Like I said, that was going to be my single. Now I'm singling Since You Left. I'm not very happy with it here. So we'll see. Race number 7, I've got the 8 on top. That is I'm a Peppa. And in race number 8, I have the 7 on top. That is Speed Runner. And in the finale, the 4 on top. Well Aware for me. So $36 play. I do not trust the single in race 6. I feel like this is a very tough race. I really liked Wicked Mercury. And
And there was another late scratch in race 6 as well, just before we came on the air. Wicked Mercury was that one that she's out too. We'll get to it in a second.
That was my single.
That was your single.
Yeah,
there
that
you
was
go.
my
So
single, yeah.
So Sarah's Dream, the 8-5 morning line favorite, and now the other heavy favorite is out of that race. So you're right. It really kind of get tricky things up a little bit. Let's start here. No Morgan Point for you. This is a fun race. We're going to see. You've got the 6 on top. You've got Awesome Train. There's 3 horses. There's 3 horses that can win this race. There's 3 horses that can't win this race.
Yeah.
Because the 3 horses that can win this race are really, really good.
Yeah, they're right there,
Yeah.
our top 3. And Awesome Train, the 2 races on the dirt, December 13th and November 22nd, they were really big wins. I love this outside post. Now we'll get Lasix back on again, and that helps.
Yeah, no, he was in good form. Beat Florida Breds
Yeah.
easily. Beat 35s easily. 4 starts back. It's a good post for sure. My best bet of the day is Morgan Point. I don't know if he's going to be favored. He's not, because I think Freedom Road with Irad
Oh, yeah.
is going to be a short number in here. But look at the dirt races for Morgan Point. You had this horse when he was 14-1
Yeah.
that day. You look at the horse he's been running against on the main track, and he's all class in here.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And my only issue with him, I think, is the fact that I don't mind the cutback, but it just seems like he had an easier time handling the mile and a 16th. But also, that was against a tough group at the same time. So I don't know what to make of him. He, from the rail now, I think is going to have to go.
I've always felt he was a better one-turn horse.
Okay.
I just think his class really kind of shone through in that 2-turn win, 3 starts
Right.
back. How cool is Freedom Road? He's 12 for 28 lifetime. He's 10 for 21. He's 12 for 26, all told on the main track. He didn't like the Tapeta. 2 starts back. They took him over here and tried. So what did he do last time? Just walloped another group on the main track.
Oh, really cool horse.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. This is a 5-year-old that you want to have in your barn like this, that's just so consistent and wants to beat you.
Yeah, and he's eligible for all these starter optional claimers. Richard Silliman's done a phenomenal job with him. He had a 7-race winning streak.
Yeah.
He lost it in the claiming crown by a neck at Churchill Downs. He's all racehorse and one of the kinds that is easily rootable for. Late pick 4 kicks off in race number 6. We'll go a mile and a 16th on the Tapeta. Another starter optional claimer here for the fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. As Samantha said, the big scratch is 4 Sarah's Dream, the morning line favorite. 8 Wicked Mercury, kind of late, the second choice. So now things really kind of get up in the air. We'll take a look at my late pick 4 ticket. We'll get back into it now. I had to go 3 deep in here, and thanks, Ron, for updating this for me. You can see race number 7. I've got the 6, and that is Akati King. I'm not going to try to beat that one today. Race 8, 4 deep now off the turf, but I'll stick with Roscoe Pine down on the inside and in race number 9. And it is my long shot. We'll see what kind of price we get on the 5. Perfect Connection back on the main track for Garofalo in Chickendaz on an $18 late pick 4 ticket. Let's get into this now. You said you've kind of got the old auto default single with the 3 cents you left for Cassie and the Hall of Famer John Velasquez. This horse, that Tapeta race, 4 starts back, was a pretty darn good effort.
It was, but it was also a year ago.
Yeah.
And the race on the dirt, I think it's encouraging that they did put her in a spot like that on the dirt. And now, as an 8-year-old, not in for a lower tag as her first start in 2025. But it was not very good. She went to the farm after that, which I think that's a good sign. Just kind of freshen her up a bit. And then she's been back working well on the Tapeta, and you can't claim her here. So maybe that's a good sign.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I think that's very significant because Mark Cassie and Gary Barber, they play this game in these levels very astutely, and they don't want you to take her. So I do think that's noteworthy. The old double scratch for me into the 5, Lady Emily Catherine, who she's going to have to run better from a 3L win, but now with the 2 scratches, she's eligible to do so.
Yeah, so I went back and forth between who to single out of these top 3 because honestly, if you had a big budget, you need all 3 of them.
I agree
I
with
think,
that.
yeah, because even though it was 12-5 non-winners of 3, you get Irad and it's Safi here.
And she's got speed too. The 2 Domer Lure now from Marty Drexler on a big drop. She didn't run an inch on Tapeta 2 starts back, but again, this is going to be a lot more to her liking too.
It will, and that was the first race after Woodbine, shipping in from Woodbine, and then the grass was not really. She's got 2 wins on the grass, but they they weren't. I think that they were against lesser in Woodbine, so I'm not going to read too much into that here. I think that Tapeta is more her style.
Yeah, and she popped off the claim for Marty at Woodbine on the Tapeta, so that's behind her now, and she can move forward. Late pick 3 in race number 7. As a tree almost falls down
that was,
next to us. That was interesting.
Yeah.
There's no wind at all either. Race number 7, we'll go 7 furlongs on a fast main track. $8,000 3 Ls here, 4-year-olds and up. Scratch the 2, tap its direction, and the 4. Things are getting hairy, and you are on the 8. And I like this because, if nothing else, it makes for good TV because you're going to have a huge favorite in the 6, Akati King. But I'm a Peppa with Irad has been in pretty decent form. This is a huge jock switch now today.
A big one with getting Irad a great post position. And I just look at horses outside of Akati King. 16 Cigarettes, Secret Lover, Mayhem in the Palace, Golden Sombrero, all of these horses except the far out, the 8 and the 6, they all have races pretty close together, and I'm not a huge fan of that.
Very popular is the 6. Akati King has been claimed in 4 out of the last 6 starts. Jose D'Angelo off the claim today. The speed, the form, clearly the one to beat.
Yeah, definitely. And with horses like this going the 7 furlongs, when you have speed, you can just run away from the field.
Very dangerous, especially because the scratch of the 2 tap its direction probably takes a little speed out of the race, and certainly things are getting hairy. So the race is there on the lead now to be taken. Race number 8, we are off the turf. We'll go to a mile and a 16th on the Tapeta. It's a $35,000 2L for 3-year-olds and up. We scratched the 3, Old Flag. We scratched the 4, Salted Caramel. We scratched the 6, Strength and Guidance, who we'll see on Friday in a tricky one for 3-year-olds. Tyler Gaffleone on the 1, Roscoe Pine. Samantha on the 7, Speedrunner.
So this is the only race that I changed things today because originally I had Khabib on top. I'm not playing Khabib to win on the Tapeta today. But this Whisper Hill runner now, it's a Sweezy barn. The race last time was the same level and same situation, unfortunately, just rained off. But it was a decent enough effort, and not a lot of speed for this weirdly named speed runner because he doesn't have a lot. It seems when you name horses something, it's like the exact opposite, right? But he's going to have to be involved a bit more early on. I like the fact that Dylan Davis stays aboard him because now we know, okay, we made a little bit of a run last time. Let's keep him closer and see what we can do.
I think he's a big move up because, the turf form wasn't, he is kind of, to me, maybe a Tapeta horse.
Right, yeah.
I left Roscoe Pine on top. He's never tried the Tapeta. I liked him, obviously, clearly better on turf. He is a 3-year-old, but he's coming out of that Ford Steele race. I think I got Ford Steele as the morning line favorite in the stakes on Saturday, the Cutler Bay. So it's a good race. He's looking up at some older horses, but we'll see if we can get the Tapeta today.
Yeah, look, he theoretically should be able to, but he can't do it if he's going to just
drop out the back.
Exactly. Yeah. To be fair to him, though, Ford Steele was that was a fast race.
Very fast race for that level, and he did come from the back to back, so that's a good effort because we've seen it time and time again over here to our right. You get to the front on the turf, it is tough to reel horses in. Let's talk about the 8, and that is Bourbon Outlaw off an absolute tour de force on the Tapeta last time, and now we go off the claim for Carlos David.
Well, the Carlos David barn, just who's better than this barn at claiming horses? This is a big claim here. I like the fact that they keep Lionel Reyes. I know he just broke his maiden, but if Carlos David is claiming in for a horse who was 0 for 13 going into that last race, I think this is a good sign, and they were probably hoping for the rain.
Well, there's no great call because this is a horse that was 0 for 9 on turf and a total fade. David 33% off the claim with that easy Tapeta win last time, so you better take a second look in here. Race number 9 wraps it up. We're on a fast main track at 6.5 furlongs. $35,000 maiden claimers here for the 3-year-old fillies. We scratch out the first-time starter, the 7, Blackjack Mary, and we'll start with you with the 4, Well Aware. This is the wild card. This is the danger. First-time Safi off an August 4th layoff in Kentucky.
Yeah, I just feel like the first time after the trainer switch is such a strong performance by the barn. Nice works, at least on paper. Nice in the sense of they've been consistent. They've
Yeah.
been just plugging along here. So now we'll see what this filly can do.
You know what was odd to me, and I don't want to read too much into it. Safi works him so quick in the morning.
Yeah,
this
and
horse
this is not very.
No, not very.
That's
But
fair.
again, we're talking about a $35,000 claimer. She's
Yep.
not in at the bottom. I think the race probably goes through her. The long shot for me is Perfect Connection. I don't know if there was a scratch in here. I don't know if they're going to bet this horse or not because she was 43-1 on debut on the dirt. It was actually a pretty decent race. Then she was 27 on the Tapeta in a no-show routing. Blinkers go on for Garofalo and Chickendaz, who have done some good things under the radar maybe at the championship meet.
Yeah, if blinkers go on today, maybe we'll get a little bit more speed out of this daughter of Connect. I like Connect's way better on the dirt
Sure.
than any other surface, so this is a sneaky horse here.
Yeah, Go Amy, clearly one of the ones. She was
Yeah.
in for 50, 2 starts back, draw a line through the turf route last time.
Yeah, she didn't really want it. It just seemed like the barn was just trying something with her. And look at this with the trainer stat, turf
Yep.
to dirt, 19%. Not too shabby
Nope,
here.
not at all. And this is a barn that's probably going to start ticking over pretty soon once we get out of the championship meet. The 6 is something simple.
Yeah.
Got some speed and hasn't run poorly. Should be a square price.
Yeah, going to try the main track
Yeah.
for the first time, so that's not too bad. You look at the breezes in the morning, they're pretty fast here, just across the main track. Now,
Yeah.
I can't see them. There were no works on this horse, none on Well Aware, so going into it a little bit blind because you want to see how these horses are training on the main track.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they look good, but
Yeah.
that remains to be seen when you can't actually get a proper
Right.
look at them. 9 races for you off the turf, unfortunately. Fast main track, though, here to kick off closing week, our last Wednesday for a bit as well. But let's take a look now at the lightning round. And when we do this next Thursday, we'll have final standings, but nothing's going to change at the top. We know that, and it
Right.
hasn't changed in quite some time.
No, it hasn't. 97 wins for Irad Ortiz, put a feather in his cap with that. And then we've got Luis Saez, Tyler, Edgard, Jr. He did a very good job this meet. He had a
Yeah.
good meet.
I'm looking at this now. Everything's up for grabs, though, because 6 wins and 7 wins, Tyler, ahead of the 3rd and 4th. That, a big weekend can vault Louis or
Again.
Edgard, and that'll be fun. If that doesn't happen, who's going to finish 3rd on the podium?
Right.
Safi's been down the road for quite some time, but let's see what's going on underneath here. Jose, D'Angelo, Mark Cassie, there's the Hall of Famer, Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, these are all three. Those 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finishers, they're all poised to have a pretty big weekend
Yeah,
as well.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Todd Pletcher's got, of course, Disruptor in the Curlin Florida
Yep.
Derby. Victor Barboza Jr. Can't say enough about the championship meet he has had after what he had a very struggle quite a bit
Right.
last winter. Hot dog, this is it, Wednesdays.
Final
And
Wiener
I'm gonna-
Wednesday, yeah.
we're going to try to see if I can get 2 or 3 of these instead of just one. Wager $10 and get a free hot dog, and I will speak for my partner in that they are really good.
We haven't missed one since
Nope.
we've been here, so get involved if you are here. It really,
Mm-hmm.
they're great. Nathan's hot dog.
And your favorite for Saturday's Curlin Florida Derby, Godolphin's Homebred Sovereignty tuned up. There you can
Yeah.
see the final prep.
Yeah, this is his breeze last weekend before coming into this. Chillax is a maiden.
This is his workmate too, right? They've been working, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. The last work before this, he was solo. He's not a very impressive morning workhorse. I'll say that, but you just can't really read too much into that because I would have never played him after watching his work before coming into the Fountain of Youth, and I did not, and he just made me look silly. This showed a lot more energy, which I like to see. His work when he was solo 2 weeks before was just very flat, so I'm glad to see that he's running on
And
well.
the reason I know was Chillax because Chillax outworked him, and he was, I
That's
think,
right.
dead last
Yep.
in a maiden
You're
debut
right.
race
Yeah.
on Fountain of Youth Day. The late breaking kind of news is that Manny Franco, who has actually won a Florida Derby in the past aboard Tis the Law, will pick up the mount. He's the regular jockey of Godolphin's Homebred and Champion Immersive, the 2-year-old filly champion. Talked to his agent, John Panagot. Manny will be here in town Friday night and going to likely pick up a few mounts before race 14. Yeah, that is good.
Yep, that's
I think.
awesome because there's a few up for grabs like Knightsbridge.
Yes.
That's one that's in the Army Mule that could be a big player.
Yeah.
So it's very unfortunate for Junior Alvarado. If you
It
see
is.
him around here, he's always got a smile on his face. So very unfortunate. But the good news is you come back, you should be back for the Derby.
Talking about 3 weeks maybe or so, and these guys are the toughest men and women around, so 3 weeks could mean 10 days or whatever. And she said it perfectly. Junior Alvarado is good a guy as you're ever going to find around here. So we wish him a very, very speedy recovery. Your best bet today on this 9-pack Wednesday?
Yeah, it's Ranger Battalion here. I'm not as convinced on the Tapeta today, but I still think that he's a big player just on the class drop alone.
Okay. Mine is Morgan Point in race 5, and he's actually, well, at least on the morning line, second choice. But this is, I think it's a good best bet race because I don't think it does anybody any favors if you use the 2 huge heavy favorites equally. That's not a recipe for success as a gambler. So just take note of that. We'll single him in race number 5. Your long shot today?
It's in the opener with the number 7, so we'll see. If we stay at like 5-1, I think that's perfect.
Yeah, without a doubt, and that is Miss Morgan. And I'm all the way at the end at around 5:06 in the p.m. with the 5 Perfect Connection here to kick off the final Wednesday of the championship meet.
It's been fun. Every Wednesday's been a lot of fun, and thank you everybody for joining us on Wednesdays. I know you'll miss our faces.
$200,000 estimated rainbow coming up in race 4. Pete Aiello coming up in a minute with your scratches and changes on this 9-pack Wednesdays.